chair. And if the legs aren't good crossed, you can extend them. The knees can be bent. Find what feels good to you. And then allow the weight of the body to drop down. The hands can rest wherever they're comfortable. And you have the option of either closing your eyes, or if you like the eyes to be open, you can just let the eyes become soft and take in the whole periphery of everything around you. And then just notice as we start to turn the attention inward, what it feels like to connect to the earth and drop the weight. As if you're offering the weight down. And as we offer that weight down, we find almost a rebound force that comes up through the spine, up through the top of the head, creating space. Notice if your body is gripping anywhere, maybe the jaw, the forehead, or the neck or shoulders, even the belly. And even though we're sitting up, we want to be comfortable. So if you need to make a last minute shift or movement, then give yourself permission to do that and then just settle back in. And we'll sit just for a couple of minutes, turning our attention to what we feel in our physical body, in our emotional body, notice the thoughts that come and go. And then allow your attention to drop to the breath. And at first we just explore what we feel. So what does it feel like to breathe in your body? Where do you notice movement? Can you feel the movement into the side body? And into our backs. And then allow the attention to come to the exhalation, to the out breath. And then just allow the out breath to lengthen just a little. Let it be so subtle, it's as if you don't feel a change. But just ever so slightly, that breath becomes a little bit deeper. And then with each breath cycle, allow that breath to deepen just a little bit more and a little bit more without forcing. And then turn your attention to the inhale. And as our breath is continuing to deepen very gradually, just feel how the body expands in all directions as you breathe in. So not just the front, not just belly breathing, but the sides, the back, we elongate, we widen. And then as we exhale, everything comes back. Like the skin itself is moving out and in. Watching that giving and receiving action that we walk with all the time. Now I want you to focus on the inhalation coming from the base of the spine as if you're breathing up the back body to the top of the head. And then as you exhale from the crown of the head, coming down the front body to the base of the spine. So you're inhaling up the back and exhaling down the front. Like you're creating a big energetic circle around the body. Notice if you started to grip anywhere, and again, let the whole body relax, but stay connected to breath. And then just allow your hands to come out to your sides. Turn the palms to face up. You can keep the eyes closed if you like, or you can slightly open them, keeping them soft. And then on your next inhale, let's let the arms float up. And as the arms come up, just feeling them move through space. And then exhale, let the arms come down. And then just continue with your own breath, exploring that motion, the movement through that space around you, inhaling as the arms come up and exhaling as the arms come down. And when we watch our body move, we are actually creating new neural pathways to our brain. We're creating new memories of movement. So let it feel good, so we know what it feels like to move in a way that feels good in our body. All right, the next time the hands come down, let them come down to the floor. Walk the fingertips out, and if you're in a chair, you can just hold on to the sides of the chair. Let the chin slowly drop down towards the chest, and then gently lean the fingertips into the floor. Breathe. On our next inhale, we'll slowly bring the head back up. Take your right hand to the floor, let the left arm come up. And then again, we're not reaching, we're growing from the center up and the center down. And then exhale, let's come into a side bend. Find your breath, so one side of the body is being squeezed, the organs on this side are being squeezed, the other side is now being opened with our breath. So let's move a little bit here with our breath. As we inhale, release it just a little, and then exhale, go a little bit deeper. And just play with that with your breath. Inhale, release a little bit, and exhale, maybe grow. And then the next inhale, come back up. Let that hand slowly come down with awareness, and take the other arm up. Find the space, let it feel good, and then on your next exhale, come into that side bend. Hold it for a breath or two, feeling, again, one side opening, the other side being squeezed. And then move a little with your breath. Inhale, release a little, exhale, go a little bit deeper. Play that edge. Inhale, and exhale. And then inhale, coming up. Exhale, the hand comes down. We'll inhale, lengthen through the top of the head, and we're going to move into a twist to the right. So think of moving from the base of the spine up, not the arms. If I move my arms, my twist starts here. So moving from the base of the spine, thinking of moving one vertebra at a time. And then when the shoulders are moving, then the hands can move. So the left hand can come to the right knee and the right hand can come to the floor behind you. So let's inhale, lengthen as we release the twist just a little. Exhale, maybe go a little bit deeper. Inhale, release a little. And exhale, go a little bit deeper. So again, just playing with your edge, feeling the body, moving in and out with your breath. And then just hold it when you come into your twist for another breath. And on your next inhale, we'll slowly come back to center. Take a moment when you get back to center, close your eyes and just pause. Notice what it feels like to come out of that pose. Reconnect to breath. And then inhale, lengthen through the top of the head. And as we exhale, we'll start to twist in towards the left. Again, focusing one vertebra at a time. The hands can move when they're ready. And then notice the difference from one side to the other. Does this one feel different or more tight? And then work with your breath again. As you inhale, you release the twist a little. And then as you exhale, you go a little bit deeper. So inhale, releasing just a little. Exhale, we deepen. So as we inhale, we expand. We let the body open up a little bit. And as we exhale, everything draws in. It lets us go deeper into the pose. And then just hold it for a breath or two. And then slowly release back to center. Again, take a moment, arrive in your center, pause, observe, reconnect to breath. And then very slowly, we'll do what we call Sufi rolls. So we'll just let the body start to roll into circles. So let the torso move. You can hold on to the knees, and you choose how fast or slow your body needs to go. And then let those circles go in the opposite direction when you're ready. Good. So Gil Hadley, who's an expert on fascia, says we need to increase our tolerance to pleasure. And then just come to center and pause. And I love that. I say it all the time in my yoga classes, because I think it's really important to feel good when we move. Okay, let's go on to hands and knees. So if you need to put a blanket or some support under the knees, then you can do that. Let your hands come under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. The feet are pointed back, and then just let the heels beam back and the toes kind of tug a little bit towards you. Come up onto the tips of the fingers for a moment, soften the elbows, and then let the hands come down, but really feel like you're a little tree frog. Each of those gumdrop fingertips touching the floor. And that just wakes up the whole body, right from the tops of the toes to the tips of the fingers. And we'll move in through cat-cow. As we inhale, start to let the belly drop, let the tailbone and head come up. And then as you exhale, rounding the back, let the head and tailbone tuck under. So work with your breath and let the motion flow from the tailbone to the top of the head. So exhale as you round the back, and inhale as you let the belly drop and the heart comes forward. Think of lengthening through the neck, not lifting the chin too much. Work with your breath. So just feel the body flow from the tailbone to the top of the head, doing less if you need. I think you should do less. Let it feel good. All right, we'll move in through cat-cow into baby sphinx. So we let the belly drop, head and tailbone come up. Exhale, rounding the back, but this time we let the hips come back and the elbows come to the floor. Inhale, come back up, belly drops, head and tail come up. Exhale, round the back, shift back. Elbows to the floor, hips to the heels. Now, if that doesn't feel good on your knees, you can just continue with cat-cow. So just moving with your breath through our cat-cow baby sphinx pose. All right, and then come back to our tabletop position for a moment. Pause. Tuck the tailbone under, draw the low belly in towards the spine a little bit. We'll take the right leg and bring the knee towards the chest, rounding the back. And then slowly let that leg reach back, flexing the foot. Let the crown of the head reach forward as you reach the heel back behind you. And then slowly bend the knee, slowly bring the knee in towards the chest as we round our back. Bring the nose and the knee towards each other. And then let that leg slowly go back. Flexing the foot, find your length. One more time, take your time, really feeling the body as you move. No rush here. And then lower your knee back down to the floor. Shift the weight into the right side and let the left knee slowly come back to the chest. Let that leg reach back, flexing the foot, crown of the head reaching forward. So thinking of growing, not stretching. Slowly coming into that tuck. Draw the knee up as high as you can. And one more time. Exhale, draw the knee in. Really good for digestion. And then lower the knee to the floor. You have two options here. You can either come into downward facing dog or into child's pose. So if you like, you can curl the toes under, let the hips sink back towards the heels. The hands can come back just a little, and then let the legs lift you into downward facing dog. The knees can be bent, the heels can be high, hands and feet can push away from each other. And then if you like, we can take the right heel down, let the left knee stay bent, and the left heel stays up. And then we'll switch sides. So let the left foot come down, let the right knee bend, hands push forward. And then lift both heels off the floor, bend both knees, and lower both heels down to the floor, towards the floor. If they don't make it, that's okay. Lift the heels one more time. Slowly shift forward into plank. Now in our plank, we can lower the knees. That's fine too. And then from plank, let's slowly shift back to downward facing dog. We're going to shift forward and back. Feel free to come into cat-cow if that feels better for you. So either shifting forward into plank with knees up off the floor or down, and then back into downward facing dog. One more time. Take your time and notice what it feels like to move in your body. And then back to downward facing dog, and pause there. And notice what it feels like. Drop the weight, connect to the earth, connect to breath. Lift the heels, bend the knees, and walk your feet forward, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. And then just wiggle a little bit, releasing any tension. Take the right hand to the floor or maybe a block so the knees can bend as much as you need to. Let the right knee bend and straighten out the left leg as you take the left arm up towards the ceiling. And breathe. Slowly let that hand come down to the floor. Start to bend into your left knee. Left hand comes to the floor. Right leg straightens and the right arm comes up. Again, breathing. And then lower that hand down. Come into Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend the knees deeply. Inhale, reverse swan dive. So arms out to the sides. Up and exhale, hands come to heart. We'll do a half salutation. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. So let the hips come back, bow forward, slowly watching. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift the head and heart. Hands can come to the shins. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, root down through the feet. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms out to the side. Exhale, hands to heart. Do it from the side. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Now bend your knees, bring your hands to the floor and step our left foot back and lower the knee to the floor. Your back toes can stay curled under. Let's either keep our hands on the floor or maybe the hands come to the knee. Let the shoulder blades draw back, lift through the heart. And then push into the front foot. Let the hips come back a little bit. So now this left hip comes a little bit more over top of our left knee. And imagine this right knee is moving back into the hip and the hip is moving back. So you might be pushing a little bit into that right foot on the floor. And we'll take our right hand to our right hip, take the left arm up, and then as we exhale, let's come into a side bend. Stay rooted through the feet. So the feet are connected and keeping you strong. Find your breath. And then inhale, come back up. Let's take both arms up. Hands come together and to the heart. And then again, we're going to start to twist from the tailbone. We're going to move the torso towards the right. Keep pushing this right knee back into the hip. And then if you like, you can take your elbow to the knee and push the hands into each other, coming into a twist. So our twists are detoxing for the body. And we're often used to doing this pose with the hips leaning forward, but this one is just a little bit different where the hips are pushing back a little bit. To come out, let's inhale, come back to center. Slowly lower the hands down to the floor. And we'll take the hands and just walk them back a little bit, maybe flexing the front foot, coming up as we inhale, and exhale. We'll bow forward over the leg. So hands can either be on the floor or maybe they're on your leg. Just watch so you're not pushing the knee. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, bowing forward. Inhale, lifting up. Think of rolling up the spine, and exhale, bowing forward. This time we'll hold this bow forward. Slowly bend into the front knee, shifting back. Bring your hands on either side of your front foot and lift the back knee off the floor. Take the left hand to the floor and the right hand can come to the right knee. Reach the left heel back behind you and then slowly, one more time, coming into a twist. So we have the option of keeping the hand on the knee, or if it feels okay, we can take that right arm up towards the ceiling. Making sure that we're not really pushing through, that we're just keeping the body fluid and connected. And then slowly lower the hand back down to the floor. Take the front foot back to meet the back foot and we'll come back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lift the heels, bend the knees, and we can step our feet forward, coming back to Uttanasana, forward fold. Root down through the feet, inhale, reverse swan dive up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, let the arms float up. And this time as we exhale, bend the elbows into a cactus shape. Lift up through the heart, like this, lifting up through the top of the head. Inhale, arms up again, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift the head and heart. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, inhale, reverse swan dive up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale, fold forward, root through the feet. Knees can be bent as we slowly bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. This time we'll step back with the right foot. Lower the right knee to the floor. Toes can stay curled or you can take them pointed back. But we'll take this either our hands or on the floor or onto the knee. We'll let the shoulders roll back, lift through the heart. And then we'll take this left hip back so that the right hip is over the right knee. Left hand to the hip crease. And we'll take the right arm up and exhale into a side bend. Stay rooted through both feet here to help keep us stable. Find your breath, using support under your knees if you need. And then inhale, coming back up. Let's take both arms up and then back to heart. We'll inhale, lengthen, and then as we exhale, let's slowly start to twist our torso towards the left, towards that bent knee. And if it feels okay, we can hook that elbow onto the leg. Let the torso move. Keep this left hip pushing back, hands leaning into each other, and finding that length from the tailbone right through the top of the head. If you're holding your breath, you're going a little bit too far. And then to come out, we inhale, slowly come back to center. Let's lower the hands to the floor and then slowly start to walk the hands back. The hips come back and the front leg straightens out. Flexing the foot, we'll inhale, lengthen through the top of the head and exhale, slowly bow over the knee. Inhale, lifting up, so think of rolling up the spine and exhale, bowing forward. One more time. Inhaling up. And this time exhale and just hold it forward, making sure we're not forcing. We're just letting the body open up. And then very slowly start to walk the body forward, bending back into that front knee. Push into the hands, lift the back knee off the floor. Right hand comes to the floor, left hand to the left knee. Let the hips sink down a little and start to rotate the left shoulder up. And then again, if you like, you can either keep the hand on the knee or maybe that left arm grows towards the sky. Finding your breath. The back knee can stay down if you like, but actually it's easier lifting it. Take one more breath in. And as we exhale, slowly lower your hand down, step back into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, you can either stay here or you can lower your knees to the floor. We'll just take a break into child's pose. So letting the hips come back to the heels. You can let your hands or your head rest on your hands, whatever feels comfortable for you. The knees can come apart. And let's come back to our breath. So breathing into your back body. Deep, radiant breath. Let the breath move the muscles of the back. Let them relax the shoulders. And then slowly let's come back up. We'll bring our hands on either side of our knees, just slightly in front. Take the right hand and slide it forward and then towards the left side of your mat as far as you can. Let your head rest on your arm. Push the left hand into the floor and just breathe. You should feel a stretch on the right side of your body. Slowly come back to center. Place the right hand beside your knee and let the left hand slide forward and towards the right side of your mat. Let your head rest on your arm. Push into the right hand and breathe into your stretch on this side. All right. right, slowly, slowly come back up. Let's just walk the hands forward for a second. Walk the legs back, coming back into our plank for a moment. So let the heels reach back. Here you again have the option of keeping the knees down if you like, or we can keep the knees up. So we can also like shift a little bit forward and back. And you can also do that when the knees are down. It's just a little bit more subtle. All right, and then very slowly bend the elbows, coming right down to the belly. Reach one leg back, reach the other leg back, and bring the legs together. Let the pubic bone root down, draw the inner legs towards each other, and let the tops of the feet lean into the floor. Take the arms beside you on the floor, palms facing down, and let your forehead come to the floor. Breathe into your back. And then when we come up, I don't want you to think of lifting the head up. I want you to think of lengthening the head forward. So the crown of the head starts to reach forward, and then eventually that lifts you up a little bit. So don't be seduced by height. Think of lengthening the spine. Keep rooting through the feet, the pubic bone, and then slowly lower down. Inhale, lifting up. Again, think of lengthening. Think of softening the neck. This time, if you like, you can lift the arms off the floor, reaching the arms back, but keep it soft. There's this sort of balance between effort and effortlessness. And then slowly lower down. And then one more time, lengthening through the top of the head. Arms might lift off the floor or not. And this time, if you like, you can slowly reach the toes back. So don't think of lifting, think of lengthening back, and eventually they lift a little bit. Soften the belly. And then allow everything to come back down slowly. Bring the hands underneath your head. Let your head turn to one side and breathe. Let your head turn to the other side. And then slowly come back to center. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Push yourself back up. Walk your hands back towards the knees. Curl the toes under. And then slowly lift the hips up. Coming into Uttanasana. Bend the knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, arms out to the sides. Exhale, hands come to heart. And then one more time, just pause. Find your mountain pose, arrive. Feel the feet on the floor. Offer the weight down to find that lift up. And then if your feet are together, I want you to just take them a little bit apart. We're going to just connect into our feet a little bit more. The 10 toes, so feel all the toes. The full circle of the heel, we feel the arches lift. Let your knees be soft. So if you watch if your knees kind of lock a little bit. So let them be soft so they're not locking, there's space behind the knees. And then very slowly just start to shift your weight into the left foot. And as you take your time and feel the shift of the weight, feel how everything comes into that side and the other side becomes light. And then very slowly, and we watch the body, we shift over to the right. So just feel what it feels like to shift. What is happening inside the body as you move? The muscles are engaging on one side, the other side they're letting go. And we'll just slowly shift from side to side. Just watching from the inside how our bodies move. We're getting to know what it feels like to move in our own body. So we feel the feet, the connection, how all the muscles work to hold us and release. And then when you feel even, I want you to slowly come back to center. So again, we're feeling an even quality in through both feet. Let the neck relax. We're going to move into tree pose. And I'm just going to show you first how I like to go into it. We'll bend into both knees. We'll shift our weight. So I'm shifting into my right. And as I let the weight come in, I'm going to push the right foot down to straighten it. My left knee will come up. And then I'll just take that foot wherever it wants to go and let the knee open up. But I'm not opening the knee so much that the hip starts to move. Just let the knee go where it wants to stop. So we're not forcing. So I find that spot. The hands can either stay at the heart or you can let them come up towards the sky. Watch that we don't bring them up so high that we start to crunch into the shoulders. So we want to keep that space in through the neck and the shoulders. Okay, so let's come into it together. So find your feet. Bend in through both knees. Shift into your left foot. So take your time, feeling the weight connected, and then push down into that foot to straighten that leg as you lift the right knee up as high as you can. And then let that foot come wherever it wants to go and open up a little. Soften the eyes, soften the neck. And again, you have the choice of keeping the hands at heart or maybe letting the arms come up. And it doesn't matter where the foot goes because your body chose. You didn't pick it up and bring it up. Your body chose where it wanted to go. Let the hands come to heart. Let the knee come forward and then slowly lower the leg down. We'll just give our legs a little shake. Okay, and then we'll come into it on the other side. So hands at heart. Let's connect to feet, the 10 toes, the full circle of the heel. Drop the weight. So it's like we're trees. We're growing the roots into the floor. Bend into both knees. And then shift the weight slowly into the right foot. When you feel the weight into that foot and the other side becomes light, then you push the right foot down, bring the left knee up, and let that leg open up wherever it wants to go. And if the foot is low and the toes touching the floor, that's fine. And again, you can keep the hands at heart, or maybe you let those branches grow. Let the shoulders relax, let the eyes soften, connect to breath. And can you notice if maybe one side felt more balanced than the other? And some days we balance better, some days we just can't at all. Bring our hands to heart. Release the leg back down to the floor. We'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward slowly, watching. Take your time. Inhale, halfway lift. So lifting the head and heart. More important here to have a flat back than straight legs. So watch if your back is hunched. So let the shoulder blades draw back. Find the length through the entire spine from the tailbone to the top of the head. And then exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, bring your hands to the floor, and step back into downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, let's push the hands forward, push the feet back. Find that rebound force up through the center, and then draw the right knee in towards the chest. Let that leg grow back. And then bend the knee, lift the left heel, and shift the body forward and bring the knee towards the left elbow. So another little tiny twist. Take the leg back slowly, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, lower that foot to the floor. Take the left knee in towards the chest. And then let that leg grow back. Take your time. Think of growing, not lengthening, or lengthening and growing, but not stretching. Bend the knee, Shift forward and bring that knee towards the right elbow. Try to bring it up as high as you can. Shift back slowly. Three-legged dog. Lower the the foot to the floor. And this time we're going to take the right knee back to the chest. Take the leg back. Three-legged dog. Bend the knee. Shift forward. This time we're going to take the knee between the hands a little bit towards the right hand and lower the knee to the floor. Take the foot, move it a little bit to the left, and take the left knee down to the floor. So my hips are quite high, you can see. Point the back foot back a little bit. And we're coming up quite high. Hands can stay down and you can use blocks if you need to. Or we can come up. From here, the knees are going to kind of pull in towards each other. You can have the hands on the floor, hands on the heart, or maybe the arms come up. Okay. So the option of having your blocks, or even a book if you have one, and we're squeezing the legs together. So this is sort of a back bend, and also we're engaging a little bit. And then from there, we're going to slowly let the back foot curl under. Just gently walk that leg back. So the hips now start to come down. And we come into our Ekapada, Rajakapotasana, our pigeon pose. So you can be on the tips of the fingers again, draw the shoulder blades back. Now this is also an option to do pigeon on the floor. So if coming down like that isn't good for you, this is also another option. You can come to a wall and put your foot on the wall. Same stretch. So just kind of take the time to see what feels good for your body. And you can have a look at your back foot and make sure that the heel isn't kind of leaning to one side, that the heel is sort of pointed straight up to the ceiling. Okay, we're going to move now from a back bend into a forward fold. So our back bends are really energizing. And then when we slowly come down onto our elbows, or maybe we're on our blocks, or maybe even using a block for the head, or maybe if you're flexible enough, you can come right down to the floor. You can choose. Those of you with knee issues, maybe you stay high, but you just soften forward a little bit. And our forward folds are more calming. So notice what it feels like now to come from that back bend into a forward fold. So our postures really affect our emotions. And they also affect our breath. And so reconnect to breath. Notice how your breathing is. And very gently, we'll start to bring our hands back up on either side of that front knee. We want to be careful when we come out of this pose. So the first step is to curl the toes under in the back and lift your knee off the floor. Push into the hands and very slowly we'll find our way back into downward facing dog. Hands and feet push away from each other, bend one knee, maybe the other. Move a little bit. And then from here, we'll take the left knee to chest, draw that leg back for three-legged dog. We'll bend the knee slowly, bring that leg forward as we shift, lower the knee down, the foot comes a bit to the side. Again, we're quite high up. Again, we can use our blocks or come up onto the fingertips. We're squeezing the knees towards each other. We're lifting through the heart. Relax the shoulder blades back. Soften the throat and the neck, the eyes. So we're engaging the muscles and then we're going to release it. It's going to let them stretch out a little bit more. So now we'll slowly come into that forward fold. Oh, I forgot to bring the arms up. Let's walk that leg back a little bit. Draw the shoulder blades back. Let the hips sink. So again, take a look at your back leg. Make sure it looks okay. Again, lifting up through the heart. And then as you exhale, let's come forward into our pigeon pose, our forward fold, whatever feels good. And what does it feel like to breathe? And slowly, again, let's come back up. And the hands, this time to come out, we're going to slowly just shift onto our left hip. And as we do that, bend the back leg, and we'll slowly just swing that leg forward. So let's come a little bit more towards the front of your mat or the center of your mat. Okay. And then just take the hands behind you. The legs are together, knees are bent, feet on the floor. So find your heels and your toes. Lift up through the heart. We're just going to take one leg up and then down. And then the other leg comes up and down. And then just one at a time, you can continue like this and you feel the muscles that we use to walk up and down the stairs. Or if you like, you can take both legs up, draw the legs in towards each other. So there's not a lot of weight on the hands. It's mostly just there to help balance us. So you can either keep the hands behind you or maybe let the arms come forward, let the shoulders relax. And then inhale, so maybe the feet are down, that's okay, we can come up. And then exhale, let the arms kind of come over to the left, again, another little twist. So the legs can either be up or down. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, back to center. And this time, let the feet come down, let the hands come down to the knees. Take the feet apart and just round the back, bow the head. Find your breath. We feel more breath in our back here, which is really good for the nervous system. And then slowly come back up. Let's take the legs back towards each other. Maybe move a little bit more towards the front of your mat. Grab behind one or both knees, round the back and slowly come down onto your backs. Hug the knees to chest, drop a little side to side. And then when you come to center, let both feet come down to the floor. Find your feet on the floor, the toes, the heels, those arches lifting. Let the left foot stay rooted as we bring the right knee in towards the chest. You can hold on to it with both hands or one and move it out a little bit so as if you're drawing it in towards your armpit. Just breathe. Stay rooted through that left foot for stability in the hips. Lower the right foot to the floor. Now we start to connect. We shift the weight like we did when we were standing into that right foot. Let the left knee come into chest. And then open it up just a little bit towards your armpit. So the right foot is still rooting down. And the left knee is coming in wherever it's comfortable. If you feel uncomfortable on the shin, you can hold behind the knee. That's fine as well. And then from here, let's take the right knee back into the right armpit, or towards there. Now you have the option of staying here, where you can take your hands behind the knees and maybe take the feet up towards the ceiling in a version of Happy Baby. So if you're here, that's fine. The knees can be bent, or you can even reach up and grab the outside edge of your feet, draw the knees down towards the floor, and let the tailbone, that sacrum, kind of tip down towards the floor, like you're trying to touch your tailbone towards the floor. And then you have the option, if you like, of letting the baby rock a little bit side to side. Or you can keep it in the center in stillness and just feel, connect to breath. And then let your body, if it's rocking, come back to center. Let the soles of the feet come together and lower the feet to the floor. Let the knees come out to the sides. Bring your hands to your ribs. And remind the front body just to soften. Reconnect to breath. And close your eyes if you like. This is a pose of really opening up, of being vulnerable. I often say it's a pose of change. It's a pose of being open to change, to things that are happening. And that sometimes we need change to make something better come out of it. Let's take our hands to the outsides of our legs. Gently guide the legs back towards each other. Bring your feet to the floor and let your arms come in a T position on the floor. And then to start, just let the knees tick-tock a little bit side to side. Maybe they just move a couple of inches to one side and then a couple of inches to the other. Think of moving over the sacrum a little bit more, over the low back, as opposed to twisting. And then if the movement wants to grow, you can let it. And also, if you want, the head can start to rock a little bit in the opposite direction of the knees. Those of you with neck problems or shoulder issues, maybe that doesn't feel good. Maybe keeping the head centered feels better. So again, you do what feels good to you. And really watching from the inside what is happening through the movements. Okay, when you're ready, let the body come to center. We'll take the arms in, and if you have a blanket or something, we can come into Shavasana. So I encourage you to keep the heat in the body, so you can put a blanket over top. I'm just going to sit up so I can talk a little bit better, but you can lie down in whatever position feels good for you. The knees can be bent, the legs can be straight. And if lying down doesn't feel good, you have the option as well of just sitting. And then once you've found your position of comfort, just take a moment and just do any self-adjustments that you need to be a little bit more comfortable. Maybe tucking the shoulders under, and you have the option to close your eyes or keep them open and soft. Let the jaw relax, the muscles of the face relax. The shoulders, the arms. Feel the touch of the back on the floor. That bowling ball weight of the head, the shoulders, and the hips. The legs are relaxed, the arms, even the hands and the fingers. Again, as you offer that weight down, it's as if you're being held. As if the earth is holding you. Keep watching the body. Watching the layers of the body relax. Watching how the energy settles. We do Shavasana. We do this final relaxation at the end of yoga, so that the energy that we moved and shifted can now settle. So just feel the subtle movements inside your body as they settle. Gently just bring attention back to the breath. Notice the movement of the subtle breath, your natural breath. When you feel ready, you can add a movement. Notice where it wants to come and let that movement come. And then in your own time, you can come to a seated position, whatever feels good to you. Take your time. When we arrive back into our seated position, again, allow the weight to drop down, finding that lift through the top of the head. The eyes can close or look down. Notice the touch of the body on the floor. Notice the touch of the air on your skin. And the movement of air inside as you breathe. Let's do one collective breath together. So inhale deeply. Exhale through the mouth. Let's bring our hands to heart. We'll bow down to our practice. It's my honor and pleasure to practice with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.